Welcome back to the Fly With Her podcast and Happy New Year. I'm your host, Hassanah.
And I'm Maya. Thank you for joining us for our first episode of 2026. Today's guest holds a truly groundbreaking title. She is Jamaica's first Muslim female pilot.
She began her journey studying computer science with the hopes of becoming an air traffic control. But once flight training became possible in Jamaica, she became the very first member of the Aeronautical Club of the West Indies.
Since then, she's earned her PPL, her CPL, and is now completing her instrument rating, all while working full-time at the very flight school where her journey took off.
Hassanah, welcome. We are so honored to have you here with us today.
Thank you guys so much. I am very, very excited.
Please take a moment to introduce yourself and just give us a summary of your story.
All right. So, my name is Hassanah. I born and raised in Jamaica. I went to school at St. Andrew High School for girls and then university at the University of the West Indies where I studied computer science. And the journey really started at a very young age. My mother is from Trinidad. So whenever I was younger and we would go and look for her family, I was just very, very intrigued by the feeling of the airplane lifting off, like that gravitational pull. I absolutely love that. When I was in the airport, I was just so fascinated by everything. I was like, yeah, I definitely have to do this like for the rest of my life. So as I was growing, it wasn't really we didn't really have much like aviation influence or just women in the aviation field at the time. So it was kind of discouraged. And also my religion, I'm a Muslim, right? So at the time it was like really discouraged, like, you're not really gonna get a job because of stereotypes and this and that. And I was kind of just like discouraged throughout the journey. And then I was like, all right, it was encouraged for me to study like sciences, going to like the medical field, not doctor, but like pharmacy there about, because I think people they well adults back then they were really focused on job security. So they're like want to make sure that, I mean, they have your best interest at heart. So they're always gonna say, hey, like, listen, we think this is gonna be the best for you, etc. So went on, I was doing the sciences, like I was still getting good grades and everything. And I knew in the back of my mind that my passion is really flying and I want to get back to that. And I didn't have that reality check until, so in Jamaica, we do CSET, which is 4 levels. And I got great grades on that. But then A levels, which is K for us, this Caribbean Advanced Proficiency Examination, I was not happy with my grades at all. And I'm going to be very, very honest with that. Like, I didn't like it. And it showed me that what I was doing was not what I was passionate about. It showed that, like, I'm not enjoying what I'm doing. And then I decided that I was not going to wake up to a job that I hated. I didn't want other people's opinions to be projected onto me. Just because they haven't seen it happen before doesn't mean that it is impossible. You know what I mean? So I did like a complete 180 with my life. I was like, you know what? I'm going to flight school. I'm going to train to become a pilot. And at the time, Jamaica didn't have an approved flight training institution. So I was looking abroad. I was looking at like Canada and the US, etc. And the cost was just so much. Like, my parents were not ready to pay any of that. Like, that was just a lot. And so I said, all right, fine. If I can't do flying, then I still want to be involved in the industry. So I said, all right, let me get my degree and become an air traffic controller because I still wanted to be around the airplanes. I wanted to be around that environment that I loved so much as a child. So it was in first semester when the Aeronautical Club of the West Indies started up. And I came to their first ever club meeting. And funnily enough, that day, because of where the airport is for the club, Tinsipen Aerodrome, it floods kind of often. So the first day of my club meeting, it rained and it flooded. And I was like, damn, that's crazy. But I still like showed up afterwards. Like, even though the place is flooded, it has airplanes, it has the people that I want to talk to. You know what I mean? So Yeah, I got involved with the club. I was doing like graphic design for them and working with them to get the school approved. Because the end goal was to start a club and then have the school approved so that we have people who are enthusiastic or want to become pilots, or they have them already, so that they can get their training done. Because remember, at the time, there wasn't anywhere approved to do flight training. So work with them. By this time, I would have been in university. So then when the school got approved, that's when I started my flight training. And I was still in U. I think I was in my final year of university. And the final year is usually like the hardest year. So that was like a lot for me. Like I had to tell myself that my fight for my degree is also the fight for my aviation dream. So yeah, so I was in flight school. I was in university and my parents got really sick. I had to take care of them as well. So it's like a lot was compounding, you know what I mean? I think I was working in part time as well during that whole period. And then I got my license I started like January 2022 and I finished September of the same year. And during that journey, man, like getting my PPL, that is, it was so, it was surreal. And I mean, my first flying on my first training lesson, it felt like I belonged there. It felt like, yeah, this is the beginning of what I really want to do, you know? So yeah, and I've been flying since. I got my PPL in this 2022. And then after that, I was just time building, you know, exploring the different parts of Jamaica, etc. And that was like actually pretty fun. Like just flying around, enjoying and flying with different pilots as well. Like that really, really was I like flying with new pilots because like it's like, all right, everybody flies not differently, but they have different personalities, etc. And it was really cool to just explore those different people. And then it also helps to see how you fly. So you may fly. So for example, I had somebody that I was time building with, and we had like a really good dynamic going on. So like I know that they're gonna get the flaps, and I know that they're gonna do this and that. But like when you're flying with somebody else, you have to like strictly like you have to communicate. You know what I mean? So I learned all of that. And then that's just time building. And then I started my instrument training on the simulator for my instrument training. And I found it was a lot of work. Like it was mainly like simulator training. So yeah. So at the time it was mainly simulator training. Doing like BME arcs, procedure turns, holds, etc. It's a lot, but I think I like that kind of like structure. I like that I have to learn more. I like that I have to ensure I'm on my P's and Q's. And yeah, and then I got my CPL last year, 2025 September as well. So yeah, yeah. Wow, that's like the whole thing. I
Yeah,
just realized.
no, that's an incredible journey, honestly. What does it mean to be Jamaica's first female Muslim pilot? What does it mean to you personally to have that identity in the aviation world?
I think it means that for me, uh, it's more of that I can show people that you, if it is that you want to go for it, you shouldn't allow others to stop you. So it's more of proof that you are in charge of your own path. So that's what that is what has been carrying me through. That is what I have been trying to inspire others as well. Like, hey, because even here working at the flight school, we got a lot of questions, but like, boy, am I too old? This and that. And I'm like, bro, as long as you can hold a medical, you can fly. Like, don't let other people stop you. Don't think that, oh, because I'm 40, I can't fly and I'm too old. Bro, come on. No.
Totally, totally.
No, that is actually really true. Obviously, you mentioned that you were discouraged from becoming a pilot from a very young age. How did it impact you, and what were people telling you, and how were you able to overcome this small issue in your career?
Right. So I was discouraged by others telling me that because I'm a Muslim and a woman, I'm not gonna get a job because people are gonna be fearful or based on stereotypes. And And while I'm not gonna give up my faith, that didn't mean that there's nothing religiously wrong of my dream. You know what I mean? So it impacted me. Impacted me by I was so discouraged. I was so heartbroken. It was just like, man, this is something I really, really wanted, and others around me are telling me, no, like things are just gonna be against you. And yeah, it was really, really hard. And then I overcame it by just telling myself that, listen, they're not living my life. I'm living my life. So if it is that I am going to go for it, and if I have to face whatever that they were warning me about, it's my journey to face that. Whether or not it will come. And so far I have so many doors have been opening up for me just by just being ready and willing and just being here. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's very encouraging. I mean, if you have a dream, no matter what other people are saying around you, if that's your dream, then go for it, you know? So that's great that you to know that you push through even when there were people saying all these negative things and things about how your journey would go. So that's really good. That's really good for you. When you realized when you wanted to become a pilot previously that there were no flight schools in Jamaica, how did you cope with having a dream that felt so out of reach?
Um it didn't I didn't feel too discouraged. I felt more like, all right, this is a problem that I need solving, or oh, in what other ways can I solve this problem? So if there were no other flight schools, then all right, let me look into somewhere else, into other careers that are within the industry. So I was still gonna be attached to the industry, whether I was a pilot, whether I am a ramp agent, whether I'm an air traffic controller, whatever it is, I still want to be in that industry. So it wasn't, I didn't feel like there was no way out. And stuff. I felt like, all right, this is a problem that requires some creative thinking. And I was willing to do all of that. So yeah.
I love your determination, honestly. It's really amazing.
So you mentioned that your final year of university studying computer science, it was a very difficult year. So my question is, looking back, do you think studying computer science gave you any unexpected skills that now help you in aviation?
Yes, it gave me some of the concepts are the same, as it relates to logic and so, I mean, in computer science and coding, like you have constants and you have variables. It's the same thing in flying as well. You have constants, things that will always be there, things that you always have to deal with, and then you have variables that pop up that you have never expected and they change. So it's dynamic. So dynamic and static, variable and constant. Um, and just overall how they teach you in computer science to think with logic. That's exactly how flying is. Like it has to follow a C sequence. It has to be one after the other. You can't do item C without doing item B. Like it could be catastrophic. You know what I mean? So yeah, that computer science definitely taught me that. And yeah, didn't expect it, but it did.
What does it mean to you to be training as a pilot in Jamaica where opportunities are so limited?
It feels good. So one, it feels great to be someone who is benefiting from training in Jamaica, from coming from a time that there wasn't anything available. And two, I'm happy to also to be part of the work to improve the training for future generations. So I think majority of where I'm focusing now is kind of helping to improve the experience of training here. I think training here too, like as a pilot, honestly, the view parts, meaning flying over Jamaica, is absolutely breathtaking. I love flying over Jamaica. It's beautiful. It's mountainous, has a lot of terrain, but the view of the sea and just everything else is just chef's kiss. You know, it's really so cool. But I would like to see more development in the industry so that other students can have something to look forward to. So I think it's not for me because being part of the first set of students to be trained since the school got approved, it's kind of like you're not really seeing ahead of that. It's like knowing that you're the first to do it. So And that's also part of like why I was discouraged when I was younger, is because nobody has seen you doing it. But when you're doing it, it's a different feeling because, yeah, you're doing it, but then sometimes the road doesn't seem very clear. But the most important part that I have learned is that as soon as at least you're starting, because once you start, then the way is going to get clear. So, yeah, I would like to see more development, yes. And I would like to experience aviation outside of Jamaica as well, because the industry is very, very small. And yeah, I would like to see aviation. I would love to go to an air show, and see all the crazy things they're doing in the sky. Yeah, I want to see outside of Jamaica. And it's like, because I'm so used to everybody in the industry is like, yeah, it's kind of small, but like I want to go to somewhere where you've never seen that plane before ever in your life. Like every week is some new airplane versus here, like we know all the planes that are flying. You know what I mean? So yeah.
Yeah, totally. Hassanah, a few months ago, Jamaica was hit hard by a devastating hurricane, Hurricane Melissa. How did this, or how has this impacted your flying progress and the Jamaican aviation industry on the whole?
So the hurricane, I think it really brought together the community a little bit more, because the school ourselves, we were doing a lot of relief efforts. We were doing a lot of relief flights. So based on where majority of the damage was in the western side of the island versus where we are based on the eastern side, there is an airstrip on close to that, well, on the western tip of the island, called Negril Aerodrome. So we were doing relief efforts on flying food supplies and water and Starlink from Kingston to Negril, and dispersing them from there. So the hurricane really brought the community together, and we were doing relief flights to Negril Aerodrome. And I think that also helped pilots in a way, because some of the Negro flights, we allow time builders to go on them. So, because once you get your PPL, you need to do a lot of time building. So that was a great way. And Negro is like the longest flights. So it takes to go and come is like 2.4 hours. So then that's like a good amount of hours in your logbook. So I think that helps students as well. So yeah, the devastation was real. But the aeronautical school has definitely, and the industry overall, the airport authority, Airbus, like all of the different aviation community, companies and people, they came together and definitely tried to help and do their best. So every day you saw helicopters moving every single day in October, bro. In October and not November, helicopters was just, and to the point, you remember how I was saying that, we always see the same airplanes. So during the relief efforts I think it was some US helicopters came down, Chinook and Black Hawk, and for us here, like we don't really see that very often. So us seeing it fly by every day, it gave a different perspective to the students. So it's something that we've never seen before. So yeah.
That's very beautiful that even in the midst of like the aftermath of a hurricane, that like the community was brought together, and people from your workplace and the flight school were actually helping others in need. I think that's really great. And it's glad that you was a part of that, helping those who need the help and support. That's really great.
Yeah, and also like it was also like a kind of win for you as well, because you guys got to as like you said, build flight time as well whilst helping those around you. So it's really cool how you guys all came together and was, sharing responsibilities.
Yeah, it was really cool. I mean, all
Yeah.
things considered.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. True.
So you mentioned before that you wanted to make a change and obviously help those for generation to come and for the future. You want to help the aviation industry in Jamaica. What message do you hope young women, particularly in Jamaica, who may feel unheard or doubted, take from your story?
Hmm. I want to let them know that even though it's a male dominated field, that doesn't mean that you don't have a place here. From my experience, I have had no negative experience being in this field at all. I have still been given a lot of the same equal opportunities. I don't get treated any differently, if that makes sense. Like I have no complaints. And sometimes people think that, oh, it's a male dominated field and the male doesn't treat me like this and that. The males are looking forward to more women in the field, bro. Like it's as a Jamaican, I would say is a bagaman. Like it's a lot. I want to tell them that listen, just because it's male dominated doesn't mean that you don't have a place here. If it is that you really want to go for it, then only you can stop you. So
Yeah, that's
So
true.
you've just you've completed your PPL and your CPL, and you're working towards your instrument rating as well as working full time. What is the end goal for you, Hassanah, in terms of your aviation journey? What do you want to do in the future? Do you want to fly commercially? What exactly do you want to do with your licenses, and what's the future for you in aviation?
you know, Maya, I started off thinking that yes, that the goal is gonna be an airline pilot. That was always a dream. But I think that dream was because that's all I could see. Meaning, sometimes when people mention aviation, all they think about oh pilots. But being in the industry, I have been exposed to all the different gears that are turning simultaneously to keep this industry moving. And I am just really fascinated by that. I come in and I see the work that air traffic controllers do, the work that aircraft maintenance engineers do, all the work that goes behind of that, all the work that goes behind airport firemen, airport security. And I'm mind blown by that. And it just feels so great to literally see the gears turning in real life. So it kind of, even though I love flying and I definitely want to do that more for the future, but I think I want to get a little bit more into the management aspect of things. So yeah, so that's kind of what I've kind of started off with a little bit with the flight school. But I still do want to fly. Flying is my first love. And I actually think I actually like impromptu stuff. So like oh you have a flight now, oh let's go, you know. I love that stuff. So I definitely want to whatever job that allows me to do that, I would also love to look into that. But yeah, I'm kinda the end goal for me, I'm still creating that. I thought it was, growing up, I thought, yeah, it was airline, it was not gonna be that. But I mean, getting more exposed, I was like, yeah, there's more to this than what is sold, you know? So I'm still charting that path and I'm happy with wherever the road takes me as long as I'm flying, as long as I'm in the industry, I'll be completely good.
Yeah, totally. I mean, as your aviation journey progresses, you realize all these different opportunities that are available to you. I remember Aitana and myself was talking the other day about the things that we could go into. And I guess as your horizons, like as you get introduced into more things and see more things in the industry, you realize, oh, this is an option, or this is an option. Oh, I could do this, or I could do this. So I think that's the beauty of it. And of course, the end goal is flying, but there's so much more you can do in the aviation industry. You mentioned like all the different careers working together. It really just is one big team in aviation. So, and as long as like we're a part of that, I think that's cool, right?
Definitely.
That's the goal, to be in aviation, whatever capacity that may be.
For sure, for sure.
Yeah, exactly. Because like even before, like a couple of years ago, all I was thinking was airline pilot, airline pilot, airline pilot. Then after going to this program called Fantasy Wings, after going there for a year and completing the program, I realized that there's so much more to aviation than just being an airline pilot. There's like so many other different pilot jobs as well. That you could be a cargo pilot, a corporate pilot, you could be a flight instructor. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's about just
You could also be a pilot for like the air ambulance. That's also an
Yes.
option. Like those
Oh
are,
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and you can even be like a flight dispatcher, and then
yeah.
there are other careers even in the regulatory side. So for you it's EASA, EASA, right? So there are jobs in that area as well, and it's all over the place, man. It's yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many different avenues, and I just think when you get to explore them, you really see like you can really choose which one's best suited for you, right? And that's the beauty of aviation.
Definitely.
Yeah, and also here we don't have EASA, obviously in the UK because of Brexit. So we have the
Oh,
CAA. The rest of Europe has EASA, but obviously because of Brexit, we don't have EASA, which makes it kind of difficult because when you wanna train in Europe, you also have to get your EASA class or medical. So it's kind of annoying, but because of Brexit and the UK, yeah.
sweet. So what do you guys, you have CA, meaning Civil Aviation Authority.
Yeah.
So that's just UK based only?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. So how do the laws differ from EASA, which is what you guys had before?
I don't know.
That's a good question. That's a very good question. Tana, do you know?
All I know is that it's two different things, and that
Yeah.
even because obviously I have my class one for with the UK. If I wanted to go to Europe and do my flight training over there, 'cause obviously it's cheaper, I would still have to pay again and get my class one again with the EASA. 'Cause obviously, it's not the same thing. I don't know what the difference is. I'm gonna figure it out soon, hopefully. Um, but yeah, it's really annoying. It's annoying, but it is what it is, though.
Damn, it be like that.
Yeah. Yeah, it really is. So, Asana, if you could speak to the younger version of yourself who was discouraged from being a pilot because you were told to go in to do other things, what would you tell her now?
Hmm, that's a very good question. I would tell her to stay true to herself. I think I younger me would like allow the negative thinking and the negative influence to influence me to, oh, okay, maybe this isn't for me. Da, 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 da. But I want to encourage her that you know what you're talking about, girl. Stay true. Yeah,
Yeah,
Beautiful.
that's
That's
it.
great.
yeah.
That's great advice. Stay true to yourself. Stay true to yourself. If you have a dream, go for it. Perfect. Thank you.
Definitely. And also, I would tell her to equip herself with as much information as she can. So
Mm.
information definitely, because you don't want to say, all right, let's say I have this big dream, but how are you gonna go for it? Like, what's your plan? How are you gonna get your student pilot license? How are you gonna do this and that? So also to equip herself with as much information as she can from reputable sources so that she can create a proper plan going forward. So, and that'll be my advice to anyone trying to start aviation as well. Be in the know as much as you can in regards to your in regards to your next steps versus you have a lot of people who are very versed in like flight sim, like they can fly the biggest jets on the sim, but if you put them in a Cessna 172, they have no idea what's going on. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Hassanah, for sharing your story with us. It's been an absolute pleasure having you on today's episode, especially having our first Jamaican Muslim female pilot on this podcast.
Yes,
Thank
and
you.
and and thank you so much, guys, for having me. Like, even though I'm the guest here, I'm so inspired by you two. Like, this is just, I love the energy. I love everything that you guys are doing. And kudos to you. And yeah, just keep doing what you're doing. It's absolutely amazing work.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Hassanah, and all the best to you in the future as well. And we can't wait to stay updated on your journey. So
Yes.
that is it today. That is it for today. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe, and follow us on Instagram and TikTok at the Fly With Her Podcast.
Don't forget to tune in, take off, and fly with her.
See you in the next episode.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.